So, continue reading from the Vaishnavacharyas, and this is Vrndavana Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavata, and we are on the Madhya-Khanda, chapter 8, which is description of the display of powers and opulences. This is Chaitanya Leela, according to Vrndavana Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, chapter 8. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the life of all. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, the abode of pure love for Nityananda and Advaita. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, the life of Sri Jagadananda and Sri Garbha. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, the life's treasure of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, the master of Jagadish and Gopinath. And glory to the followers of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, accompanied by Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya happily enjoyed pastimes in Navadvip. Accompanied by Advaita Acharya, the circle of Vaishnavas sang and danced. They made a great tumult of chanting Lord Krishna's names. Lord Nityananda stayed at Srivasa's home. He was always in the mood of a child. He never manifested any other mood. He would not lift his hand to eat. Considering him her son, Malini would feed him. Chaste Malini felt ecstatic in Lord Nityananda's presence. She always served him. They were like mother and son. One day, Lord Chaitanya sat down with Srivas and spoke with him about Lord Krishna's pastimes. Testing Srivas Pandit, Lord Chaitanya said, "Why do you always give shelter to this Avaduta? You don't know anything about his birth or his family. I say that you're very generous. If you wish to protect your own good birth and good family, you should send this Avaduta away." Gently smiling, Srivas Pandit said, "Lord, it's not right that you test me. Anyone who for only one day worships you becomes my very life. Lord Nityananda is your own body. There is ample evidence to prove this. Even if Nityananda is a drunkard, and even if my noble birth, my life, my wealth all perish because of him, in my heart I will not think badly of him. I will not think he is at all different from you. What I tell you is the truth. It's the truth." Hearing these words from Sriman's mouth, Lord Chaitanya stood up and roared. The Lord said, "Srivas Pandit, what did you say? You have faith in Nityananda. You have understood the secret of Nityananda. I'm pleased. I give you this boon. Even if Goddess Lakshmi goes begging from town to town, poverty will never enter your home. Even the dogs, cats, and other animals in your house will find peace in my devotional service. I place Nityananda in your home. Please serve him in every way." After giving this boon to Srivas, Lord Chaitanya returned home. Lord Nityananda regularly wandered in the villages of Nadia. Sometimes he would swim in the Ganga, carried by the current. His happiness had no end. Sometimes he would play with the children. Sometimes he would go to the homes of Gangadas or Murari. And sometimes he would run to Lord Chaitanya's home. Seeing him, Mother Sachi was always very affectionate. In the mood of a child, Nityananda would try to touch Mother Sachi's feet. She would run away. One night, Mother Sachi saw something in a dream. In private, she said to Lord Chaitanya, "At the end of the night I saw a dream. You and Nityananda were together. You were both 5 years old. You were running in the house, playing and fighting. Then the two of you brought Krishna and Balaram out of the temple room. Nityananda had Krishna in his hand, and you carried Balaram. Then the four of you began to fight in front of me. Becoming angry, Krishna and Balaram said, 'Who are you thugs? Get out of here. This house and this room belongs to us. The milk, yogurt, and sandesh are offered to us.' And then Nityananda said, 'Time is gone when you two could steal and eat butter and yogurt. You aren't cowherd boys anymore. Now you're Brahmins. With this in mind, you should renounce all these offerings. If you will not voluntarily renounce them, then you'll perish. Who will tolerate your plundering and eating?' Then Krishna and Balaram said, 'If we take you two cheaters, tie you up, and throw you outside, we will not have done anything wrong.' Then Balaram said, 'If Krishna orders this, I will not disobey him.' Then Balaram rebuked Nityananda and screamed. Then Nityananda said, 'Why should I be afraid of your Krishna? Chaitanya is my master. He's the master of the world.' In this way the four of you quarreled, snatched food from each other, and happily ate. One snatched the food from another's hand and ate it. Another snatched the food from someone else's hand and put it in his mouth. Then Nityananda called out to me, 'Mother, give me food. My hunger is very great.' I have told you my heart. I do not understand this dream in the least. Can you tell me what this means?" Hearing this dream, Lord Chaitanya smiled and sweetly told his mother, "Mother, you saw a very wonderful dream. Please don't repeat this story to anyone." Assuming the form of the deities in our home, the Supreme Lord himself has really come before our eyes. My heart has firm faith in your dream. Again and again I saw that after it was offered to the deities, not even half the food remained. Embarrassed, I did not tell anyone. I suspected your daughter-in-law. That suspicion in my heart is now destroyed. Hiding nearby and eavesdropping on the story of the dream, Goddess Lakshmi, the mother of the universes, smiled at her husband's words. Then Lord Chaitanya said, "Mother, please hear my words. I will quickly bring Nityananda here, and you will feed him." Hearing her son's words, Sachi became happy. She gathered the ingredients for the meal. Lord Chaitanya went to Nityananda's place. At once he offered an invitation. He said, "Today in my home there will be a special offering to the deities. Please do not misbehave." In this way he instructed Lord Nityananda. Covering his ears, Nityananda said, "Vishnu, Vishnu." He said, "Only madmen misbehave. You think I will misbehave because you think everyone is like yourself." Talking in this way, the two of them laughed and laughed. Talking and talking about Lord Krishna, he finally came to the house. Smiling and laughing, the two of them sat down together. Giradhar and other close friends were also there. The servant Ishan gave the two lords water to wash their feet. Then Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda went to enjoy the meal. As they sat down to enjoy the meal, the two lords were like Ram and Lakshman in Kausalya's home. As did Ram and Lakshman, the two lords enjoyed the meal. They had the same thoughts and the same affection. They were the same, two persons. Mother Sachi very happily brought the meal, which was in 3 courses, and the two lords smiled. Returning, Mother Sachi saw that the two lords had now become 5 years old. She saw that one was dark and the other fair. They were both handsome and charming. They both had 4 arms. They were both clothed only by the 4 directions. She saw them holding a conch shell, chakra, club, lotus, and plough, marked with shrivats and decorated with kastuba jewels and sharp-shaped earrings. She saw her daughter-in-law resting on her son's chest. She saw this once, and suddenly she did not see it. Fainting, she fell to the ground. All her garments were wet with tears from her eyes. The food was scattered in the house. Because of the wonder that she saw, she was no longer aware of external things. Lord Chaitanya rinsed his mouth, ran to his mother, extended his hand, and picked her up. He asked, "Rise, rise, mother. Why did you suddenly fall to the ground?" Regaining external consciousness, she hastily tied her hair. Mother Sachi did not say anything. In her own room, she wept. She sighed deeply. Her every limb trembled. She was filled with spiritual love. Nothing else mattered to her. The servant Ishan cleaned the whole house. He took whatever remained. Ishan always served Mother Sachi. He is like the most fortunate person in the 14 worlds. Every day, the close servant Ishan saw many wonders like this. No one else knew the secrets he knew. This Madhya-Khanda is like a pitcher of nectar. Whoever hears it kills the sins in his heart. Accompanied by his devotees, Lord Chaitanya performed Sankirtan in Navadvip. From whatever places they were, the Lord's personal associates came one by one to Navadvip. Learning that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had descended to this world, they all became joyful at heart. Seeing the Lord reveal his true nature, the Vaishnavas became fearless. They became agitated with bliss. The Lord saw every devotee to be as dear as life to him. Every devotee thought he was the Lord's dearest friend. The Supreme Lord, whom the Vedas always seek, affectionately embraced his devotees. Lord Chaitanya always visited his devotees' homes, and there he revealed his four-armed form, six-armed form, and other forms also. Sometimes the Lord went to the homes of Gangadas or Murari. Other times he went to the home of Acharya Ratna. He always went with Lord Nityananda. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were never apart. Lord Nityananda was always in the mood of a child. Lord Chaitanya manifested many different moods. Like bumblebees at the Lord's feet, the devotees saw, according to their different destinies, the Lord's forms of Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Shinga. Some days, accepting the mood of the gopis, he wept, unaware whether it was day or night. Other days he would accept the mood of Uddhava or Akrura. In other days, accepting the mood of Balaram, he'd ask for wine. Other days, accepting the mood of four-faced Brahma, he would fall to the ground and recite prayers. Other days, accepting the mood of Prahlad, he would recite many prayers. In this way the Lord played in the ocean of devotional service. Seeing all this, Sachi, the mother of the worlds, floated in bliss. Still, in her heart she told herself, "Someday my son may leave home." When Mother Sachi said, "Son, now you should go and bathe in the Ganga," the Lord would reply, "Mother, please say, Jai Krishna Ram." Whenever Sachi spoke to him, Lord Chaitanya would always reply by saying, "Krishna." He never said anything else. No one can understand these inconceivable, ecstatic moods of the Lord. Everything that he revealed was wonderful and unprecedented. One day a singer of Lord Shiva's glories came, playing a dandura drum. He sang about Lord Shiva. Arriving at the Lord's house to beg alms, he sang about Lord Shiva and danced. Hearing about Lord Shiva's glories, Lord Chaitanya at once manifested the form of Lord Shiva, a form with splendid matted hair. With one jump, he came up on the singer's shoulders and he screamed, "I am Shiva!" The people watched as matted-haired Lord Chaitanya played the drum and horn and said again and again, "Sing, sing!" That day the great soul attained the full benefit of singing Lord Shiva's glories. Because he sang without offense, Lord Chaitanya climbed on his shoulders. Returning to external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya climbed down from the singer's shoulders. In the singer's cloth bag, the Lord placed some alms. His life now a perfect success, the singer departed. The auspicious sound of Hari then rose from everyone. The Lord thus enjoyed pastimes with his servants. In this way, the glories of devotion to Lord Krishna were manifested. The Lord said, "My brothers, please hear this, the best of all advice. Why should our nights be wasted in false and useless activities? From now on, every night, we should sing Lord Hari's auspicious names. When we all chant the Lord's names in this way, we will become plunged in the sacred Ganga of pure devotional service. When it hears the names of Lord Krishna, the entire world will become delivered. Therefore, the holy name should become the only treasure of you all. Hearing these words, all the Vaishnavas became joyful. In this way, Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan pastimes began. At night, Lord Chaitanya performed kirtan in Srivas' home. On some nights, the kirtan was in Chandrasekhar's home. Present at those kirtans were Nityananda, Gadadhar, Advaita, Srivas, Pundarik Vijayanidhi, Murari, Hiranya, Haridas, Gangadas, Vanamali, Vijay, Nandana, Jagadananda, Buddhimanta Khan, Narayana, Kashishwar, Vasudev, Rama, Garudhai, Govinda, Govindananda, Gopinath, Jagadish, Shriman, Sridhar, Sadashiva, Varkeshwara, Shrigarbha, Suklambar, Brahmananda, Purushottama, Sanjaya, and many others. I do not know the names of all the countless servants of Lord Chaitanya. Accompanied by these devotees, the Lord danced. He did not enjoy these pastimes with any but these devotees, his personal associates. Every night the Lord roared the names of Lord Hari. Hearing this roar, the universe broke apart. Hearing the kirtan, the materialists and offenders jumped about and complained, "All night long these fellows drink wine. They know the tanri secrets of enjoying with drunken girls. Chanting 5 kinds of mantras at night, they lure Turgans to go to them. 12 hours have passed like this. We cannot sleep." This the materialists said when they heard the loud roars of "Baul, Baul" in the kirtan. While the materialists and offenders jumped about and complained in this way, Lord Chaitanya blissfully performed kirtan. Simply by hearing the kirtan, Lord Chaitanya was no longer aware of the external world. In this condition, he would fall to the ground. When the Lord fell again and again to the ground would break again and again. In this way, everyone became afraid. Seeing the Lord's delicate body violently fall to the ground, Mother Sachi would close her eyes and think, "Govinda." Although the Lord would fall in an ecstatic trance of love for Lord Vishnu, still Mother Sachi, overcome with love, would feel very unhappy. With words choked with emotion, Mother Sachi earnestly prayed for a remedy to counteract her awareness of the Lord's violent falls. She prayed, "O Lord Krishna, please be merciful and give me this boon. Let me not be aware when Vishwamar falls down. O Lord Krishna, please be merciful to me in this way. Although he is in bliss and feels no pain, still I will be very happy to remain unaware of all of this." Aware of the desire in his mother's heart, Lord Chaitanya happily granted that boon. Therefore, whenever the Lord performed Sankirtan of chanting Lord Hari's holy names, Sachi entered an ecstatic trance and was no longer aware of the external world. There was no stopping the Lord's blissful dancing. Surrounded by his devotees, he sang day and night. Some days Lord Chaitanya and his devotees would sing and dance in the Lord's home. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya would manifest his true identity as the Supreme Person. Other times he would weep, affirming, "I'm the Lord's servant." Oh, my brothers, please listen attentively. In the countless universes, there's nothing like Lord Chaitanya's display of ecstatic love. When Lord Chaitanya danced, the devotees blissfully sang. On Ekadasi, Lord Chaitanya, the life of the worlds, would chant Lord Hari's names and dance. In the courtyard of fortunate Srivas would rise the auspicious chanting of Gopal, Govinda. Lord Chaitanya began dancing before sunrise. In group after group, the devotees sweetly sang. Srivas Pandit led the singing in one group. Mukunda led the singing in another group. Govinda led the singing in another group. They all sang as Lord Chaitanya danced. Powerful Nityananda circumambulated Lord Chaitanya. Unseen, Advaita touched the dust of Lord Chaitanya's feet. As Lord Chaitanya sang, Giradhar and other devotees became agitated with love, their eyes filled with tears. Now please hear 40 verses describing Lord Chaitanya's kirtan, describing how Lord Chaitanya, the life of the world, danced in ecstasy. The word Govinda resounded in the 4 directions. Sachi Sun danced in ecstasy, overcome with love. The Lord's associates sang Hari and Ram. When he wept, Lord Chaitanya wept for 3 hours. He fell to the ground. His hair was no longer neatly bound. Only a person made of wood would not, overcome with ecstatic love, fall to the ground when he sees Lord Chaitanya weep in the kirtan. Loudly laughing, Lord Chaitanya enjoys blissful pastimes for 3 hours. Thinking of himself as a servant, Lord Chaitanya does not know his own glories. Glory, glory, he says again and again. Lord Chaitanya would happily say, Glory, glory. The devotees would repeat, Glory, glory. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya loudly sang, the holy names. Hearing his singing, the universe seemed to break apart. Sometimes his body would become as heavy as the universe. No one had the power to lift him. Sometimes he became lighter than a cotton swab, and everyone happily carried him on their shoulders. Carrying the Lord on their shoulders, the devotees would walk happily in the courtyard. When the Lord would faint in ecstasy, the frightened devotees would chant Hari in his ear. Sometimes his whole body would tremble, and his teeth would chatter like a child's teeth in winter. Sometimes there would be great perspiration on his body. It seemed like the Ganga personified flowed on his limbs. Sometimes his limbs burned with fever, drying up the sandalwood paste, anointing it. Sometimes he sighed so deeply that everyone fled, staying to one side. Sometimes he ran to catch everyone's feet, and all the Vaishnavas fled in the 4 directions. Sometimes he would rest his back against Lord Nityananda's body, lift his feet, look at everyone, and smile. Understanding this hint, all the devotees would plunder the priceless jewel of the dust at the Lord's feet. Then Lord Advaita would say, O thief, now I will rob all your power and glory and pride. Now it is mine. Lord Chaitanya rolled on the ground in ecstasy. In the 4 directions were devotees singing the glories of Lord Krishna. When Lord Chaitanya danced enthusiastically, the earth trembled, and the devotees fled in fear. When he danced sweetly and gracefully, Lord Chaitanya looked like Nanda's son, the best of dancers. When he roared like millions of lions, Lord Chaitanya kindly protected the devotees' ears. When he walked, sometimes Lord Chaitanya did not touch the ground. Some saw this, others had no power to see it. Overcome with ecstasy, Lord Chaitanya would stare with red eyes. First frightened, and then laughing, the devotees fled. Overcome with ecstasy, Lord Chaitanya danced wildly, not knowing who he was or who were the others. Overcome with ecstasy, one time Lord Chaitanya grasped a devotee's feet, and another time he climbed up on a devotee's head. One moment he would approach someone, embrace them, and weep. Another moment he would climb on someone's shoulders. Another moment he would act like a restless child. With his mouth he would imitate the sounds of musical instruments as children do. One moment he'd make his feet dance. Then he would give a mischievous laugh. Then, thinking himself a child, he would crawl on his knees. Then for many moments Lord Chaitanya assumed the role of threefold bending handsome Krishna. He stayed like that for 3 hours. Meditating, he began to play the flute. Thus he revealed the truth that he is Lord Krishna himself, the moon of Vrndavana. Regaining external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya again thought himself a servant of the Lord. He wept. Placing a blade of grass between his teeth, he yearned to serve the Vaishnavas. Once, bending his body like a circle, he made his head touch his feet. He stayed like this for 3 hours. His ecstasies were wonderful. Feeling the bliss of chanting his own holy names, Lord Chaitanya, the son of Jagannath Mishra, danced. He loudly roared. His every limb trembled. He could not stay still. He fell to the ground. Normally his complexion was fair. Now, from moment to moment, his complexion changed into different colors. Before the devotee's eyes, his form appeared double. Thinking himself a devotee, the Lord acted in extraordinary ways. He spoke in ways that were not appropriate. Seeing a Vaishnav he previously would call master, the Lord now grabbed him by his hair and announced, "He is my servant." Seeing a Vaishnav whose feet he previously would grasp, the Lord now pushed his own feet onto the Vaishnav's chest. Seeing the Lord's blissful pastimes, the devotees, their arms around each other's necks, wept. Devotees' limbs shone with garlands and sandalwood paste. Tasting the nectar of blissfully singing about Lord Krishna, they forgot everything else. The sounds of mridangas, kartals, conch shells, and clapping hands joined the sound of the holy names. The sound of the holy names filled the universe, made it break in two. All that was inauspicious fled in the 4 directions. How wonderful it is that the Supreme Lord, the dancing of whose servants destroys all obstacles and purifies all the worlds, now personally dances and sings his own holy name. What result will come from the Lord dancing and singing his own holy name? Can the Puranas describe that result? The chanting of Lord Hari's auspicious names filled the 4 directions. In the midst of that chanting, Lord Chaitanya, the son of Jagannath Mishra, danced. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the bliss of whose holy names makes Lord Shiva forget his clothing, whose glories make Lord Shiva dance, now personally dances. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose holy name made Valmiki Muni wealthy with renunciation, whose holy name made Ajamil attain liberation, whose holy name, when heard, cuts the bonds of birth and death, has personally descended in this world. Now he dances in the Kali Yuga. Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose holy name is Sukadev and Narada, whose holy name Sukadev and Narada sing as they wander in this world, whose glories Anantashesh sings with 1,000 mouths, and whose holy name is the great atonement for all sins, now personally dances. Anyone who sees him dance became very fortunate. I'm so sinful that in this birth I was not able to personally see the great festival of the Lord's dancing. Aware that the Supreme Lord would descend to the world at that time, in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasa's son Sukadev glorified the Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya danced with Lord Nityananda. I hear the charming sound that comes from the soles of their feet as they dance. Overcome with ecstasy, Lord Chaitanya would not keep the garland on his neck. He broke it and threw it at his devotees' feet. The Supreme Personality of Godhead who often happily rode on Garuda, who often manifested 4-armed form holding a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus, and who often happily reclined on Ananta Shesh, now thinks he is a servant of the Lord. Now he rolls in the dust and weeps. Enjoying the happiness of being a servant of the Lord, now he forgets the happiness he enjoyed in Vaikuntha. He who often enjoyed the happiness of gazing at Goddess Lakshmi's face has now accepted the mood of separation from the Lord. Raising his face and arms, now he weeps. Supreme Personality of Godhead, who served by Shiva, Narada, and all the demigods and sages, has now renounced his supreme power and opulence. Now he has become a devotee, a servant of the Lord. Supreme Personality of Godhead, rejecting all other happiness, now places a blade of grass between his teeth and begs for devotional service. A person who rejects devotional service and desires something else is like a person who rejects nectar and drinks poison. Anyone who reads or lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam but does not place the glories of devotional service on his tongue cannot understand or teach the true meaning, the heart of the scriptures. He's like a donkey painfully carrying a great burden of many holy books. In this way he carries a great burden of many holy books, but he does not understand what they truly mean. To an assembly of fools he gives foolish lectures. The Vedas and the Srimad Bhagavatam declare that devotional service is the greatest treasure. Lakshmi, Brahma, and Shiva always engage in devotional service. A person who does not believe that Lord Chaitanya's words are the truth does not attain Lord Chaitanya. What more can I say about such a person? Thinking himself a servant of the Lord, Lord Chaitanya danced as the beautiful sound of the holy names filled the four directions. Hearing and hearing the holy names, Advaita entered an ecstatic trance. A blade of grass between his teeth, he approached Lord Chaitanya. Covering his body from head to foot with grass and knitting his eyebrows, Advaita danced. Seeing Advaita's devotional activities, everyone became frightened, but Nityananda and Gadadhar laughed. Lord Chaitanya, the life of the worlds, danced. His symptoms of ecstasy had no end. They continued again and again. Lord Chaitanya manifested symptoms of ecstasy that no one had personally seen or even heard of in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes his body became like a motionless pillar, and no one had the power to bend it the distance of even half a sesame seed. Sometimes his body seemed like butter. It seemed not to have any bones. Sometimes his body seemed to be multiplied by 2 or 3, and sometimes it seemed to become very slender. Sometimes he staggered about as if drunk. Sometimes he laughed and happily rocked his body to and fro. Looking at all the Vaishnavas, Lord Chaitanya, wrapped in ecstasy, called out the names they bore in their previous births. He called out Balaram, Shiva, Shukadev, Narada, Prahlad, Lakshmi, Brahma, Uddhava. Looking at each one, on this pretext the Lord revealed the true identity of each devotee. Happily filling his eyes, the Lord's servants gazed at Lord Chaitanya's wonderful dancing, wonderful ecstatic love for Lord Krishna. Some were already within the house. Meanwhile, many others wanted to enter, but the Lord's order, the door was firmly closed. Thus the people of Nadia could not enter. Hearing the kirtan, everyone ran there, but no one could enter, for the door was firmly shut. Thousands and thousands of people came. They called out, "We want to see the kirtan, break down the door." Meanwhile, all the Vaishnavas inside were absorbed in ecstasy of Krishna. They were not aware that many others were outside. Unable to enter at the door, the materialist offenders outside spoke foolishly. Someone said, "These people eat by begging alms. They're ashamed someone may recognize them. That's why they won't open the door." Someone else said, "That's right. What you said is right. They couldn't get anything to eat. That's why they've been screaming for the past 24 hours. Someone else said, "My brothers, these people have been drinking wine all night. That's why they're hiding from us." Someone else said, "Nimai Pandit used to be a good person. Why did Lord Narayan make his heart like that?" Someone else said, "I think he acts like this because of his past deeds." Someone else said, "I think it's because of bad association. He didn't have a father to discipline him. That's why he went crazy, and that's why one day he fell into bad association." Someone else said, "If even only 1 month passes without study, Sanskrit grammar is quickly forgotten." Someone else said, "Oh, my brothers, I know the reason why they have kirtan behind closed doors. By chanting mantras, they attract 5 kinds of young girls. Then they enjoy with the girls in many different ways. They enjoy opulent feasts, they wear costly garments, and decorate themselves with fragrance of flower gowns. In many ways they enjoy pastimes with these young girls. Then, so others will not see them enjoying in many ways with young girls, they keep the doors locked." Someone else said, Tomorrow I will go to the royal court. I'll have them arrested. Each of them will be shackled to the waist. Kirtans, which never existed before in this kingdom, have now come. They'll bring a famine. Everyone will flee and stay away forever. Now the demigods will take away the rains. I know this for a fact. The rice crop will wither and die. No new rice crop will grow. For a while we won't do anything. We'll only see what Srivas and Advaitacharya do, or what the Avaduta Nityananda does in Srivas' house. In this way, the anxious materialists and offenders complained in many ways. Overcome with bliss, the Vaishnavas did not hear any of their words. Someone said, "It's not a Brahmin's duty to dance." Acting in this way, these people have fallen from their high position. Someone else said, "It's not right to even look at these people. When we talk about these people, all our good qualities flee from us. Look at what happens if a good person sees these people singing and dancing." Nimai Pandit used to be very intelligent, but by associating with these people, his heart became like them. Someone else said, "As if the super soul does not stay in their hearts, these people call out loudly to him. They don't understand the truth." Supreme Lord stays in their bodies. They leave the treasure in their house to go out and search for treasure in the forest. Someone else said, "Why should we talk any more about this? Let us go home. What will we gain by looking?" Someone else said, "We cannot see the kirtan because of our past impious deeds. The people in the kirtan have performed many pious deeds. What can more I say about them?" Thinking, "He's one of them," the materialists and offenders gathered together and chased that person away. The materialists said, "What is the harm if we cannot see the kirtan? This kirtan is like hundreds and thousands of people gathered together for a great fight. They do not see the importance of japa, austerity, and philosophy. They've invented their own spiritual activities and meditations. Collecting together rice, banana, milk, and yogurt, they eat together, destroying all distinctions of caste. People come only to look and to mock," they said. "Look at what those madmen are doing." After speaking these words, they would go home. Then others would come and make a commotion at the door. When two materialists met, neck to neck, they would talk, mocking the devotees in kirtan. When they met someone who had not seen the kirtan, they would take him to see it. Only after many requests were newcomers allowed to leave. Someone said, "Oh, my brothers, I've seen and heard that the followers of Nimai Pandit have all become madmen. There's always a great commotion at Srivas's house. There's a great noise as if they're celebrating a festival for Goddess Durga. After all, I even hear there are sounds of hail, hail, hi, hi. Everyone sings and glorious things happen in there. There are many thousands of Bhattacharyas in Nadia, but now these thugs have come here also. Srivas Pandit should be thrown out of Nadia. Tomorrow I'll tear his house apart and send it floating down the river. This Brahmin Srivas will destroy the auspiciousness of our village. When that happens, the Muslims will become powerful here." Even though they made so much trouble, the materialist offenders of Nadia were somehow very fortunate. They were born in the same town as the Lord. They directly saw him. They heard all about him. These words of the materialists never entered the ears of Lord Chaitanya's associates, who were always intoxicated by drinking the nectar of love for Lord Krishna. Day and night they made a great tumult of Jaya Krishna Murari Mukunda Vanamali. Day and night Lord Chaitanya danced in the midst of his devotees. No one ever became exhausted. Everyone had a spiritual body. What went by the name of 1 year was actually a yuga. Feeling the bliss of associating with Lord Chaitanya, no one knew how time was passing. As in the great rasa dance pastime, an entire yuga passed, although the gopis thought only half a sesame seed worth of time had passed. The same way, by the inconceivable power of Lord Krishna, the fortunate servants of Lord Chaitanya thought the yuga that passed was only 1 year. In this way, Lord Chaitanya danced. Then only 3 hours of the night remained. Placing the Shalagram Shila on his lap, Lord Chaitanya sat on the deity throne on the altar. Then, as the altar began to collapse under Lord Chaitanya's weight, Lord Nityananda, hastily running there, touched it. Now, becoming the resting place of Anantashesha, the altar did not break. Lord Chaitanya rocked back and forth. By Lord Chaitanya's order, the kirtan stopped. Roaring, the Lord revealed the truth about himself. He said, "In Kali Yuga, I am Krishna, I am Narayan, I am He, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki. I'm the master of countless millions of universes. I'm the person whose names you sing. You're all my servants. Taking all of you with me, I've descended to this world. The offerings that you make to the deity form of the Supreme Lord are actually offered to me. Now you should give all those offerings to me." Then Srivas said, "Lord, everything is yours." Then Lord Chaitanya said, "I'll eat everything." Advaita said, "Lord, this is very auspicious for us." Everyone became engaged in serving the Lord. They happily offered foods to the Lord, who was now absorbed in the ecstasy of revealing the truth about himself. He drank yogurt, he drank milk, he ate butter. "If there is more, bring it," he said again and again. He ate various kinds of sweet sandesh, sugar candy, and foods made with grains. He drank fresh coconut juice. He ate bananas, chipped rice, fried rice. Eating everything again and again, he demanded, "Bring more." In an eye blink, he ate what 200 men could eat. Then he asked, "What more is there?" The Lord said, "Bring, bring, this is not anything." Frightened, the devotees approached the Lord. Folding their hands, they fearfully said, "O Lord, what do we know of your glories? Countless universes rest in your belly. How can we please you with our small gifts?" The Lord said, "My devotees' offerings are not small. Bring it once, bring it once. What more is there?" The devotees said, "O Lord, please hear. Only some betel nuts mixed with camphor remain." The Lord said, "Don't hesitate, bring them." The devotees became happy. Their fears fled far away. They all brought the betel nuts. Each devotee carried in his hand as many betel nuts as possible. Seeing this, the Lord laughed. Opening his eyes wide, the Lord roared, "Nara, Nara, Nara," again and again. Everyone became silent. No one said anything. All the devotees became frightened at heart. He was now manifested as the all-powerful Lord. All the devotees gazed at him. In his presence, no one else had any power at all. Nityananda had a parasol over Lord Chaitanya's head. Facing Lord Chaitanya, Advaita, his hands folded, offered prayers. Frightened, the devotees folded their hands, bowed their heads, and in their hearts meditated on Lord Chaitanya's feet. Anyone who feels happiness in hearing of these powers and opulence of the Lord will certainly see Lord Chaitanya face to face. However far one is advanced in spiritual life, to that extent one will understand these pastimes. More than that is not possible without the Lord's express command. "Ask for a boon," Lord Chaitanya said, looking at Advaita's face. "It's because of you that I descended to this place." Looking and looking at each devotee, laughing and laughing, the Lord demanded, "Ask, ask." In this way, the Lord revealed his powers and opulences. Gazing at him, the devotees floated in an ocean of bliss. No one can understand Lord Chaitanya's inconceivable pastimes. One moment he reveals his power and opulence, and the next moment he falls unconscious. Returning to external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya wept. Now he was an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Seeing the Vaishnavas, he grasped their necks and wept. He addressed each of them as brother and friend. Bewildered by Maya, ordinary people have no power to understand the truth about Lord Chaitanya. Who but the Lord's servant has the power to understand that truth? Seeing Lord Chaitanya's nature and pastimes, the devotee smiled and said, "Lord Narayan has descended to this world." For some time, Lord Chaitanya remained on the deity's throne on the altar. Then he fainted in ecstasy. He fell to the ground. He showed no sign of being alive. Looking at him, all his associates wept. The devotees thought, "Our Lord has abandoned us." If our Lord is this cruel to us, then we will also leave our bodies. Knowing the devotee's thoughts, Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of they who know everything, returned to external consciousness and loudly shouted the holy name of Lord Hari. A great tumult of bliss arose among the devotees. Overwhelmed, the devotees did not know in what direction they stood. In this way there was great bliss in the town of Navadvip. There he who is the king of Vaikuntha enjoyed pastimes of tasting the nectar of spiritual love. Whoever hears these sacred narrations will find that his thoughts always rest in Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, my life and soul, I, Vrndavana Das, sing the glories of the Lord.